Morning, everyone. Welcome to the COGNIT Day 2025. My name is Alberto Martí. I am the VP of Open Source Innovation at Open Nebula Systems. It's a great pleasure for me to be here to welcome you to this final event of the COGNIT project. As you know, we launched this project 3 years ago. It's a Horizon Europe project that we put together with a lot of effort to, for the first time, bring together a number of European open source technology providers, research organizations, and very interesting use cases to work together on a framework for serverless computing. So today, what we want to do is, after these several years of hard work, we want to show to you the actual results and the outcomes of this project in practical terms. So first of all, just a quick orientation of what we're going to have today. So you will get some introduction to the project itself and its architecture, which is one of the most interesting things we've been working on. We will also get some insights from the European Commission. So thank you to Ana Juan for being with us later today, the project officer. And we will also see a number of different panels where we're going to discuss several topics that are very relevant to the kind of work we're doing today, and not just the work we're doing today, but also to the project that we are preparing now. So 3 years after we started the COGNIT project, with a heavy focus on sovereignty, the environment has changed a bit, right? The context has changed, and it actually, sadly, I would say, has confirmed that the emphasis and the stress that we put back in the day in working around the concept of digital sovereignty actually paid off. We see now that it's more important than ever to bring together European open source technologies, to connect these technologies to the research that is being done under research and development programs funded by the European Commission, like Horizon Europe. And it is more important than ever now that companies that are offering products in the market can actually benefit from the research and the innovation that is being done in lower TRLs, in lower technology readiness levels by academics or researchers in different European institutions. So that was our objective when we had these first discussions in 2021. If you go to the sovereignedge.eu website, you will see that we created this umbrella initiative to bring together different open source technologies made in Europe and start discussing about how we can do innovation together. Sounds like a silly idea. You still go to some of the companies and say, why don't we do innovation together? Why don't we actually go together for European projects where we can actually apply our technologies to new use cases and new environments and get interesting requirements. But also we can use these projects to, in the end, create a community or enlarge our communities and in the end, improve our technologies. So this idea that we started discussing in 2021 led to the COGNIT project some months afterwards. And I think it's a successful idea. So as you will see today, the idea of taking European open source technologies, bringing them together into new scenarios, requiring new things that these technologies are normally used to deal with, and together understand how to deal with these new requirements in a specific use cases is a very, very useful exercise and an exercise that produces tangible artifacts in terms of technology. So real benefits to these technologies that are involved in these projects, but it also brings these new technologies to users and use cases and scenarios that before maybe were using other technologies that were not made in Europe. So I think it's very important from a strategic perspective, especially in the current context, that we keep encouraging European technology providers to work together, even when they compete against each other, to develop together open source technologies, to host those technologies in Europe, maintain those technologies in Europe, and then bring these technologies to the use cases and the users in Europe that are demanding these kind of solutions. So this cycle, and where we also engage with researchers and academics, that's what we're trying to do with the, in general, with the Sovereign Edge Initiative, but in particular with the COGNIT project that we've been doing for these 3 years. And then I will leave it to you later today to decide if this model has been a success or not. I think for me, as I said, it's a success story of how we should be doing innovation in Europe. So not using technologies from outside Europe, but using the stuff, the very good stuff that we produce locally, and improving those technologies together. So as I said, today we have invited a number of people to the event. You will hear from the different partners that we have in the project, technology providers, and research organizations and use cases. We've also invited some key speakers from other organizations with whom we collaborate in some way or another. They will all bring their perspective on the challenges of the cloud market, the challenges of edge computing when you actually implement that on the ground, but also we'll be looking, as I said before, to the new challenges that the need for digital sovereignty bring to us. And I want to stress again, digital sovereignty, it is about regulation. Digital sovereignty it's about public procurement, but digital sovereignty is also about changing the mentality that we have in research and innovation. And that mentality has to assume that we have to be much more careful in the way we pick some technologies and we invest our time and our resources in improving or deploying technologies in use cases and different industries in Europe. So my message today is, please keep using European open source technologies, keep helping us improve these technologies with your efforts and your knowledge, keep applying for European funds and European research and development projects, and please, when you can, apply European open source technologies to your projects. Learn how these technologies work, help us to improve them, bring this knowledge back to the communities that are working on these technologies, and in the end, let's build together this ecosystem of research, academia, and industry working on the digital assets that they need for actually strengthening Europe's technological sovereignty. So thank you very much, and I will leave you now with the next speaker, and I hope you enjoyed the day. Thank you for being here.